Hello everybody and welcome back to Coolkvothe's Dark Souls Let's Play. In the last one we took on the lower undead bird, and in this one we are going to head into the depths and we're going to kick some ass. Or at least that's the idea. The only issue is you're probably going to see me run into a bunch of walls, maybe do some stupid things. When I'm watching it on my TV, the resolution's bad because I'm using the composite cables and I'm used to using HD, it's an HD TV, I don't know. I could probably configure it better, but even with the brightness all the way up, and you're going to see me turn the brightness up right here, even with the brightness all the way up at 10, it's still tough to see shit sometimes. So, like, as you can see, like, on the screen, it looks like both of them are, like, both of the symbols are completely filled in, completely bright, and you're only supposed to see one of them. Whatever, man. I could barely see it on my TV, and it's much brighter on the screen, but you guys should be able to see it, so you'll be able to see me screw up a bunch of times, which should be fun. But anyway, basically when you head into the depths, I think this is the first area where they kind of spring a lot of shit on you all at once. Right off the top, you get this little asshole coming out the side here. And if you don't see him, he'll probably hit you in the back, backstab you or something, and it's just like, I mean, he's just a hollow, but it's like one thing right off the bat where they're just like, you know what? Welcome to Dark Souls, motherfucker. So anyway, there's a lot of items to get in this area, and you might not see them all. I'll try to get as many as I can, and most of them are booby-trapped or, you know, have enemies hiding. I actually really like this area for that reason. There's not everything's extremely apparent, but there's pretty easy ways to get around stuff if you notice it. So this is like a perfect area where you just absolutely have to be observant. And just another one, like this guy down here, he's just hiding on the other side of the staircase. It's like, oh, you know, fool me once, but you know, fool me twice. Yeah, you're not fooling me, FromSoft. Or at least that's what I'm saying now. I mean, now that I've played the game like multiple times and know that that guy's coming. You can actually roll off to the right here, and you'll basically skip like fighting all of these guys. But I'm not going to do that just because the way back is a real pain in the ass if you want to come back this way, which I will end up doing. You want to kill the butchers, and they don't respawn, but this is the easiest way to fight them is if you go in this direction. So I'm going to continue with that. But anyway, just take your time with the hollows in this area. If you have trouble with the butcher, you can actually break these tables, and you can bring them up here. But I've never had an issue fighting them down there. Now, just another example is a dog right here. So just take your time and try to notice these guys before they notice you, so you can be prepared to actually kill them without dying. I think you're gonna see my first death in combat to anything that isn't a boss. In this fight, not in this fight, but in this area, if I remember correctly. You know, I've died to bosses a couple times, and I've been stupid and fallen off edges. But I don't think I've died just like, you know, in combat, fighting random enemies. Just, I've gotten lucky a ton of times with the blue tearstone ring, which I still maintain is one of the most underrated rings in this game, because it has saved me time and time again, and I'm pretty sure it saves me a bunch of time in this little playthrough here. But anyway, this guy, do not run up to him because the butcher will aggro. You want to try to take him out by himself, so just shoot him in the face with an arrow. Pulling is by far one of the most important strategies in this game. But unfortunately it didn't work out too well that time because the guy aggroed anyway. Now these guys aren't hard at all. The only thing that might suck is if you're fighting the dog and him at the same time, but you can circle around him and backstab him like no problem. And it's almost like these guys get easier as it goes. Like, you get this enemy, right? And then in a couple areas in Blighttown, you're going to get another enemy that looks a lot like this guy, except he like has poison blades or whatever. But he's like even slower and even easier to kill. But yeah, I decided not to waste any more fireballs there. It's not that I couldn't have killed them with fireballs. I just decided to save them for some enemies coming up that you'll see. So I actually took a hit because I was trying to do that, but Alright, the large ember is extremely important and one of the few reasons to come to Blighttown at all. You actually don't have to if you have the master key. Sorry, not Blighttown. The depths. You actually don't have to go to the depths if you have the master key. You can skip right to Blighttown. But the large ember is very, very important to get because you basically can't do anything without it. The large ember lets you upgrade. If you give it to Andre, the blacksmith, it lets you upgrade your weapons from +5 to +10 and upgrade your armor from +5 to +10. It's especially important with weapons because you can't make boss weapons or lightning weapons or divine weapons or any of that type of weapon unless actually you might be able to make divine weapons from +5s, but you can't make any of the other lightning weapons or fire weapons or chaos weapons unless you have a +10 weapon to start out. So you actually need this. It's like a prerequisite ember. Plus they're fairly cheap upgrades for decent damage. Now this guy is gonna. I'm rolling away because that guy actually drops down from the rafters, and you don't want him to land on top of you. As you can see, close corridors doesn't really make this guy all that much more intimidating. You can actually bait an attack where he slams the ground, and you can get like free hits on him with that attack. But that's the attack right there. You just stand in close and you can bait it, and then you can just circle around for a backstab. I've never had an issue. Oh, sweet, I got his helmet. I'm actually going to put that on because it looks pretty hilarious. It has absolutely no, what do you call it, no value at all in terms of armor. But, it's pretty funny to wear, so I'm just gonna wear that, I think. Look at that. Look like Jason or something. Alright, but anyway, the other important reason to come to the depths is this guy.
Please, you must help. Thank you. I would have been at supper without you. Been eaten alive. I shudder to think. Thank you. Thank you dearly. I am Laurentius, Lord the Great Swamp. I will not forget my debt to you.
Thank you, Laurentius.
Oh, hello. I'm fine, thanks to you.
And he won't forget his debt to me because what basically happens is he heads to Firelink Shrine with all the other NPCs. And when I go to talk to him, he says, hey, you know what? You look like a pyromancer. You wanted to learn some pyromancy? And who the hell's going to say no to an offer like that? So basically, the point of Laurentius is he's basically the only person for a while in this game that lets you upgrade your pyromancy and buy new pyromancies. Now, this is a trap. This is slime on the roof here. And I got slimed by this guy and died in one hit before. These guys will fall on you if you walk underneath him, but you can shoot him with an arrow and he'll fall down. Now, he doesn't take a lot of damage to anything but fire. So if you have Fireball, you can crush this guy. If you don't, you just swing away and then back up and let him do his one really slow attack, and then you swing away a couple times again. And it takes a while, but you can kill these guys with a Fireball in one hit. And that is why I saved a couple of Fireballs, because I needed them to get to the next bonfire. Now there's a bunch more of those slime things on the ceiling in this hallway. And it's the same strategy as before. You just take them out with an arrow, so they fall down, getting close enough to hit them, and then you kill them with the Fireball. See, I hate that when you're actually like really close to the guy and you throw the Fireball right at his face and he just doesn't hit him. You see that way too much. It's like such a waste of pyromancy. But anyway, when you first run down here, you want to take out these two guys so you can run down the side. But you can actually take out all of them if you want to. I only have one pyromancy left, so I was prioritizing. For a second there, I thought I didn't get that guy, which would have sucked. Now anyway, you can't run through this door if you don't have the master key. You'd have to run down to the left, which is equally, acceptable in terms of getting away from the slimes, because they move like so slow it's ridiculous. But you can just run down here to the bonfire if you have the master key, and you can just sit down, rest, and this is like the main checkpoint for the depths, so it's important to get here. Now we'll continue on. Those slime things won't actually fall down if you just head to the right down that little corridor and you don't run into the hallway, so you don't have to worry about them. And we're going to see ahead what is probably the best area in the game to farm humanity, in my opinion. Now, I couldn't really do it now, but these rats have extremely high humanity drop rates, and if you come in here with like Covetous Gold Serpent Ring, which increases your drop rate for all items, and then you get something like 5 humanity, just soft humanity, you're going to find them probably 1 humanity every time you run through this hallway, which is a pretty good farm rate. But anyway, I just got the Great Axe. Pretty sweet weapon, but it takes like 32 strength to wield, which I'm not even close to. I could dual wield it, but whatever. Alright, you see that rat? He just ran away. And then there's just kind of like 17 rats. It's probably the worst trap I've ever seen in my life because they don't actually attack you half the time. They just kind of stand there. But it's just another example of enemies in Dark Souls that back up. Not a good thing. The key I just got, the sewer key, that actually leads to the bonfire room that I opened with the master key. But if you don't have a master key, that's your goal. You get that, you run back to the bonfire room before you do anything else. Now I'm going to head through this fog wall, and there's one of those channelers in here. And the reason we actually have to kill him is because he is like above the boss room. And if you don't kill him, he'll actually shoot you while you're fighting the boss. The boss is extremely easy if he's not shooting you, but if he is shooting you, it becomes one of the biggest pains in the asses ever. So anyway, it's a really good thing to try to take out these rats first if you can pull them, because it's tough to fight him and the rats. But anyway, you're going to see me line of sight this guy, and then just take out the crest shield, so that way he doesn't do like any damage to me when he hits me, because of the high magic resistance. Let's try magic versus fire, bitch. Alright, and he won't respawn if you kill him. Now, here is what I'm talking about. These rats are deceptively strong and do a lot of damage in a very short period of time. Like, what? What just happened? I walked into that fight with like full health and died in literally 10 seconds. I did not expect that at all. But for what it's worth, it was probably the best possible time I could have died. Because I'm not going to head that way to fight the giant rat mini-boss. I'm actually going to head a secret way so I can get a cool shield called the Spider Shield. So I'm going to show you that right now. And I was going to end up running back to the bonfire anyway after I killed those rats. So everything really works out in the end. Now, when you run back this way, they actually won't fall on you, which is weird. They'll fall behind you. So you can just run down the side and they won't hit you. Now, watch out for that hollow, because a lot of people tend to miss him. And we're going to head up to where that butcher is. Not the second one, but the first one we fought. And actually, I think I do it here. This is a really good opportunity for the rusted iron ring. And I'm not sure if I put it on last time. I guess I did. This is one of the reasons why it's really good to go to Undead Asylum before you come here. And that's because if you have the rusted iron ring, you can fight these dogs and skeletons or whatever without having to worry about movement issues. And fighting dogs when you're wading through the water really slowly is a real pain in the ass. But fighting them when you're normal speed is easy, so... anyway, there's a bunch of boxes back here behind where the butcher was chopping up his meat. I don't want to know what that meat is. It looks like a deer or something. I'm not really sure where the hell he found a deer. I mean, it looks a little too big to be a human, but I wouldn't put it past that butcher. He's kind of an asshole. Alright, but anyway, there's a bunch of boxes here. And you smash them, and there's just a hole. And you just jump down. And with judging by all the bones, it looks like the butcher was chopping up humans, which is a little fucked up. And you run around the edge, and you go to the item at the very end, and ignore the rat. He can't hit you while you're up here. This item's a Spider Shield, and is extremely important for Blighttown because it has huge poison resistance. And it'll also help against the rats, because when they hit you, they do poison damage. Now anyway, if you do a falling attack on this guy, you should be able to kill him in a hit or two. And it's a hugely good idea to do that. So You know, cowabunga, motherfuckers. Holy shit, 701 damage. I couldn't remember whether I killed this guy in one hit, because I recorded this quite a while ago. But I guess I did. And he drops to humanity like all rats do, because the rats are the most human things in this game, clearly. Which says a lot, actually, about humanity in general. I wonder if FromSoft was like thinking about that when they made like the rats huge humanity droppers. Like maybe there was like a statement like on like a social commentary. I never really considered that. Like, you know, all these hollows and like humanoid enemies, they don't drop humanity worth dick. But you kill a rat and you're most likely to get humanity. It's like, oh, that's what humans really are. Alright, well anyway, that's a little disturbing, but see that guy, little frog motherfucker? He's by far the most dangerous enemy in the entire game. And because that little cloud thing gives you what is called curse. And see that little meter that's filling up really quickly? And I got out of it? If that fills up, you die instantly. And then when you respawn, you have half your health meter. And the only way you can remove curse is to get these things called purging stones, or to visit the healer in New Londo Ruins. At this level, visiting the healer is basically impossible, because you can't really fight the ghosts. Well, I mean, it's not impossible, but it'll be, for most new players, it would be. It's extremely difficult. So basically, your only option is to pay 3,000 souls, which is a fairly big amount at this early in the game, to get a purging stone. And that'll remove curse. You don't want to get hit by that. Now, there's an entire section down that hallway where that frog was, and it's just filled with frogs and a bunch of crappy items. I could go down there and get the crappy items, but most of it's just like soul items and humanity, and it's not worth the pain in the ass of fighting the frog guys and potentially getting curse. So I'm just going to skip it. So anyway, all we have left of the depths, for the most part, is the Gaping Dragon. He's an extremely easy boss, and I should have a fairly short episode next time dedicated purely to that, and maybe I'll fit in you know, saving the mage that we forgot to do earlier from the lower undead bird. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. All right, so anyway, I'm actually going to pop a humanity because I can't remember whether the boss does poison damage or not, and that will increase my resistances. And I'm going to leave it at that. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll be back tomorrow with the end of the depths. See you guys later.